What is going on, Cyber Familia? Okay, basically today I want to talk about how I know that tech companies or SaaS companies are trying to get on a ramp for growth. Okay, these are some indicators that I use. This is really common in the industry, especially from a development side. You don't see it much, but I've been part of a lot of business transformations, so I've had lots of meetings with different parts of the business, and you can kind of see the stuff coming. So this is the kind of stuff I look for. And of course, the topic of discussion is going to be Palantir. These guys are basically starting at this approach, and this is why I want to bring it up, because I think it's pretty important for you guys to sort of like know what's happening here. So what I'm talking about is, just to recap it, guys, okay? For any IT or any kind of SaaS or product company, right, or even platform companies, or whatever the case is, you need to have three things that are important, okay? You have your product, you have your sales, and you have your marketing. I know it sounds super simple, it's definitely watered down, but that's the truth of it. Now, most companies are at a stage where their product is very mature, like I mentioned in one of my other videos, which I'll link over here, but they're very mature, and they usually just hire engineers to maintain. So they're called like day two and further engineers, right? So they come in and they basically just keep the lights on. But a lot of times, good SaaS companies will have a mix of like day zero, day one engineers, like business transformation engineers, stuff like I did, as well as, you know, people that keep the lights on. But the thing is, this is all product related, of course, right? Like anytime you focus on Palantir, you always think and you go straight to the product, because they're a very high tech company. So the thing is, you know, it's very important to actually move this product, right? You can have the best thing in the world, but if people don't know what it is, you're never going to be able to actually sell it and make money. And of course, that's we all want that. So the thing is, good SaaS companies, you know how everyone talks about it's very hard to hire engineers, and it's true. Palantir is competing with Tesla, Palantir is competing with SpaceX for software engineers, right? Most people won't tell you this because, again, it's not as sexy to say this stuff, but it's actually equally as hard to hire good sales and good marketers. Trust me, it is very, very difficult. You have to give them very, very good. And the thing is, this is a well-kept secret in the software space. A lot of software companies have fantastic sales and marketing folks, okay? And they keep them there because you got to understand, sales is a high turnover job, right? So you got to keep them there by providing either crazy incentives or crazy commissions or some combination of the both, right? Marketing people usually are full-time staff, so they don't get commissions, but they have like really crazy strategies and, you know, really a lot of NDAs and stuff that go into this kind of stuff. So how do you know if some company is growing? This is the thing. Recently, and actually Palantir Vision did a really good video on this, describing like all the stuff that they're currently doing. I'll link the video in the description below. Go check it out. He's like the goat of like Palantir videos, so just go check that out first. But the thing is, I know just based on all the stuff I'm seeing from the Palantir content, I'm sure you guys are seeing it too, right? That Palantir is getting ready to get on a massive ramp, like a ramp that I don't think I've seen since, like, you know, I think Slack started to really push to enterprise. And how do I know this? I know this because the thing is, guys, if you notice, their content, the actual, like, you know, video content in their YouTube channels has been getting better, right? They've taken this sort of like dossier approach in terms of like a you know, style of making videos and stuff, like very like military type, you know, information heavy kind of stuff, right? But more recently, there's been stuff that's shorter and more concise and to the point. Now, for somebody like me, I don't really care about that because I want to see the technical stuff, right? But the real truth is, most people out there are not very technical, actually. And the funny thing is, the people that, you know, you want to sell your product to, the people that you want eyes on your, you know, content, are actually not technical pretty much at all for the most part. So I've worked with people to onboard software, and 90% of the people that I've worked with are zero technical. They go with like, you know, terminologies. They have a list as to what they want from certain softwares, and then they sort of start from there. And the thing is, like, not being technical is not exactly a bad thing for these folks, right? These guys are usually prospectors. They go out there with you know, a group of requirements, and they gather requirements from the teams and from the management staff, and they go and prospect all the different, you know, possibilities of softwares that they could onboard. So their job effectively is just basically like gathering, right? They don't need to be technical. Now, some folks are actually technical to a certain degree in what they're doing, right? They're not going to be able to sit there and explain to you developer concepts, but they understand the core business values and exactly what certain things that they're looking for the business actually pertain to the effectiveness and sort of like day-to-day operations and things like that, right? Another key part for these folks is, this is also very hard to hire for, by the way, because the thing is, they need to understand that certain things in the market are a little bit fluffy, right? It's very understated, but you know, these guys are actually also on the other side. So when you go prospect, it's sales folks that talk to you, and of course they own a solid product. So these guys would have to know how to cut through the shit, right? So keep that in mind. It's actually quite an important job. And after all of these requirements gatherings, you know, most of the software doesn't hit all of the requirements that people put out there, right? So what happens is, the ones that hit the most, and there's like an index and stuff that these guys use, the ones that hit the most amount of these requirements, you get a meeting. And then the meeting basically then translates to a few other subsets of meetings. So you'll have a meetings with technical staff, which the stuff that I've been part of, where the developers on our side get to question possibly the developers or some kind of like leads on the other side and sort of have back and forths and stuff. So this is a whole thing. This is a part of that discovery process where it takes months. So that's basically how this works. So now, if you notice, their content marketing has been fantastic lately, right? And I think Alex Karp actually in his one of his recent interviews in the Reagan Defense Forum mentioned that they suck at sales, and that's actually not that like bad, right? It's not that uncommon, I should say. Software companies very often really do suck at sales. They're actually addressing the fact that they are bad at it and they want to work on it. Now, I think once I mentioned this in my Twitter, there's my handle, but the thing I'm looking for, the product, right? The platforms, Foundry, Gotham, all these other things, they're actually pretty good to sell on its own, right? But that's what engineers talk about. That's what like technical people talk about. That's what CEOs talk about. But what you actually have to do is get the frontline soldiers, aka the salespeople, to then take the content, you know, the marketers, their stuff, and peddle it. You have to have that. And in my opinion, in the worst case, even if your salespeople are super pushy and like garbage, the product is still sticky. Once it gets into the enterprise, once it starts actually like churning out like, you know, good margins for the companies and stuff like that, right? It's going to be just a game changer. Even if the sales guy's a douche, right? It doesn't matter. And most of the times that's like salespeople consider pushy and stuff. Now, enterprise sales is a real skill, guys. So, you know, if you guys are enterprise sales guys out there, you know, shout outs to you guys, frontline soldiers for real, man. But, you know, enterprise sales, and then content marketing and marketing in general is huge, huge, huge. Now, in this space that Palantir is playing in, their product might be on a league of its own, but their marketing and sales is not actually, right? They're still very misunderstood. They still need to get the message out, see what their product actually does, things like that. Governments, it's easy because see, like there's fewer governments than there are companies, right? So it comes with recommendations, it comes with people that worked with the software and stuff like that. It's a lot smaller of a sort of like a marketplace, so to speak, right? But when it comes to enterprise, it's actually a whole different ballgame. This is what I was talking about before. If any company got a chance to actually get Palantir in, their discovery phase is so fast that it's a no-brainer. Like they'll have to buy the software and they'll have to take long-term licenses and stuff. And you could tell they're pushing lots of good videos out there, lots of good informative, but to the point videos. Nothing too technical. So, you know, it's bad for me. I can't really like go through any of that stuff, but it's good for the company. It's good for all of us as Palantir investors. So check that out, guys. I mean, let me know what you guys think. I think the content has drastically improved. Like the quality is great. It almost seems like parts of the content is almost like Microsoft Desk in terms of pushiness. But I am personally looking for the sales ramp. I want to get some sort of metric to see like how I can track the adoption rate. Because once we know that, and this is just the beginning, guys. This is why I keep saying like Palantir is just in the beginning, right? They haven't even hired like proper sales and marketing folks to actually start the ramp. The product ramp is gone. Like the product is completely sound, and it's honestly, it can't, like nothing can hold a candle to it. Okay, but you're not going to make any money if you don't sell your product. You need the frontline soldiers. Sales folks, apply to Palantir, man. Like if you're good, you know, you're going to really make a lot of money investing in this stock. So hopefully they can get this ramp up. I'm going to be watching this like a freaking hawk. I think you guys should be too. So, you know, let me know what you guys think. Come at me in the comments section below. I love chatting with you guys. That's it for me. Peace.